with social media, we just get pulled in all these different directions. And then the prop space is like every day there's a new product, or trade this or get this payout. And you're getting people shoving it in your face every day at payout, 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 payout. So it's like, it's not easy to learn how to trade in this environment.
If you want to find a set of rules, I would highly recommend joining a live stream, because I personally believe just a course alone is not going to get you far enough.
Originally, I had too much pressure on myself, and I almost blew the account up the Friday before heading out to Tampa, trying to chase you, because we were both in line for a payout that day, and lo and behold, who managed their trade well and who shit the bed? We know the answer to that question already.
I think VWAP is reactionary. It tells you who's in control right now. It doesn't necessarily tell you where we're going to go, but it gives you an idea of what's happening right now, where a lot of people want indicators to tell them what's going to happen. Traders that really understand playing the probabilities, they just need to know what is probably going to happen from what has happened.
For anybody out there that hasn't taken a payout, just get a payout. Take it on one account. If you're trading thinking that this money that you're going to get from this payout is going to change something in your life, you're trading from a place of scarcity, right?
What's up, traders? Welcome back to the podcast. I feel like my home team, second team. I don't want to call you the second team, not the B team. I don't know what I would call it, but you guys are like the home team now. Thomas has been on the podcast before. If you don't know him, Thomas Kello coming in from California, and we got Randy Bains coming in from Vancouver. So I got the West Coast boys here, and we got a lot to catch up on, guys. Behind the Charts is out. Payouts are coming through for Randy still. Thomas, you're taking a step back to take some steps forward. So we shot that video yesterday too, so we can promote that. So just a lot to catch up on, boys. But it's good to see you both. I'm excited. Randy, what are you giggling about over there?
No, it's just funny when you're like the B team, the French team. I was going to be like the up and coming all stars, like the new school. Even though I'm old, it's the new school, right? It's the new generation of traders coming up. So.
Shout out to both of you. Like, you both are crushing it, not just with the podcast, but the content in general, especially Randy, like 1,000 followers you just said on X, bro.
Yeah, I just hit that today.
You're hustling, bro. You're hustling. How much has the sharing of the content, do you think, changed your trading? Back up for a second, because when we first met before the payouts, you weren't sharing anything.
I think it's been a definite game changer. It's just, holding yourself accountable. And then when you do have those, when you have those days where you followed your rules, you followed your process, you are one and done, or you just nailed it, and then you get everybody around you supports you, and it just it reinstills that, like, I did the right thing, I didn't tilt, I didn't oversee. And then then on the flip side, when you have bad days, you get people that just say it happens, and it just brings you back down instead of going into that hole of, what did I do? And I killed everything, right? So 100%. It's huge. And now with the streaming, I find trading live streaming at first was so daunting, but now it actually has helped me just really zoom out and look at things like, should I take this? Shouldn't I? Like, I'm not just going to be throwing trades willy-nilly at anything that I can get when I'm obviously trading in front of a crowd now, right? So it's just progression. But again, like the content for me it's been a big game changer this year. So
100%. And Thomas, like I said, a little bit of a break last month. How you feeling coming back? I know you've been trading well this week. So getting back on the content, getting back on the report cards, getting back on everything. What was the break like? And then why do you think it was needed?
The break was great because something that you said really resonated with me. When I was in just a patch of kind of blowing accounts and just cycling through, trying to find myself again in my trading, you said, you're sidestepping right now. I can tell you're sidestepping, and sometimes you need to take a step back instead of a step forward. And that was like some of the best advice that I've gotten, because, I felt like I was at a middle point with my trading as well as the content that I was making, because I didn't know, why am I making this content? What am I doing it for? And that time away from the charts really helped me figure out what I like making content for, and the gap that I want to fill. And then also making a new plan and being able to come back to the desk refreshed with an attitude of like, I know that I know that what I'm going for, I've already done before, and I just need to repeat and, stay consistent and focus on the little things that are going to make me the best trader I can be.
Traders, real quick, a pause from today's podcast to thank our first sponsor, Top One Futures. You've probably heard about them by now. Top One has been a sponsor of this show for over 2 years. We've got a link in the description that's going to save you over 35% on any challenge with Top One Futures. Just use the code ASFX and that'll save you the biggest discount that they're offering at the time of you watching this. Big shout out to Clay for being here and also for helping us make this podcast happen. A big thank you to our second sponsor, TradeZella. If you're not tracking your trades, you're falling behind. I can save you on the monthly plan and the yearly plan, whichever works better for you, but we would highly recommend that you start tracking your trades today using TradeZella. I'm a big fan of Umar. They have been nothing but supportive and helpful to me and my community, so we want to save you guys money and we want to get you tracking today. Use the link in the description and you will be able to save either 10% or 20% on your monthly or yearly plan. Now let's get back to the podcast. Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Randy, you want to think about this with us here? Like the idea of when you're moving forward as a trader, you're in a coaching program, you're in a community, you're rocking and rolling, taking some payouts, but then something happens. You often will try to change things. And sometimes like I called it sidestepping, like just moving to the next thing instead of like, well, what was working? Let's go back and then get better at that. And I think that was what Thomas is saying was the advice I gave him that kind of, I think just, I don't want to say got you on the right track, kept you on the right track, right? Like what were you doing?
Gave me permission to feel this way. Like, and then now it's like, okay, this is maybe an indication of why. And then I'm like, I was just totally able to like reevaluate my thought process when I thought about it as like, okay, I'm just sidestepping instead of I'm like moving backwards. No, you're not moving backwards. You're just on the course and you just got to make the right next step.
And like for you specifically, and then I think Randy, we've had this same conversation, but Thomas, like you were taking payouts with Top Step. What did we do that got you off of the payouts from Top Step? Well, you stopped trading with Top Step, right? Wasn't that one of the things?
Yeah, we can go into it a little bit because I like my whole point with sharing content is like being super authentic about the journey. And I think we don't give ourselves credit a lot of the time for what has been working. And yeah, so like I was getting payouts with Top Step, and then I'm like, hey, I want to hit my first 10K month. Top One just came out. They've got these great rules. I met the CEOs in Dallas. I'm like, this is great. This is my opportunity. And I remember one of my other mentors, David Capablanca, he talked about the COVID 2020 is like, he was like, this is my time to really put my foot on the gas. And yeah, so I felt like that was kind of my time to make this transition to try and really scale up and like, hit a big home run. And, then like at that same time, I was dealing with a lot of things outside of trading in life. And, all of these things come together and it affected me pretty heavily. And I didn't get the result I was looking for. And then, that kind of put me in this little churn and burn spiral of feeling frustrated and not knowing if I made the right decision or not, but still trying to push for it because I already started to make that initial investment. Because at the end of the day, that's what a prop firm is. I feel like it's just an investment and I'm just leveraging my money to make some more money. And yeah, at the end of the day, it didn't work out for me quite in the same way that I, had expected it to or anticipated it to. But that's like the lesson, that's the journey. And, not everything is going to work out how you foresee it to.
So it sounds like it's like you were doing well, Top Step, 10K payouts, good month, Top One launches. You think, okay, let's just translate over to Top One. I met the guys, let's go. It isn't working in the first month, like in April. So then in May, you start looking at other things. You were going to join Pax's program. You're going to join other things. And that's when we spoke. And I said to you, instead of doing other things, go backward, go to what was
exactly
working.
Dude,
right?
Best advice. Right. Because
so I think,
go ahead, Randy.
No, I was going to say, I think it's something like in this age of social media, prop firms, we get pulled as learning to trade in all these different directions so fast. Yeah. And before you know it, it's not even like, we're not taking a step back. We just got to sidestep and kind of like how me and Thomas talked about it in Tampa. And I kind of said to him when he was struggling with Top One, and I'm like, Thomas is like, this is these rules are so easy. How come I'm not getting a payout? But I'm like, is it now that you're just telling yourself it's so easy and then you have a bad day of trading, you're that much harder on yourself? Like you've already told yourself, why can I pass these easy challenges? Right. So it's like luckily Austin said sidestep, go back to top step. You are comfortable with those rules. You know how it worked. That was the system that worked for you. And I think, Thomas, you've been, you passed the combines in a couple of days.
In a week, not even, right? He just passed them and then he was like, yep, I'm back. I'm funded again. And I was
he's
like, cool.
Trading well this week. Like your trades you're back to like Thomas, like, the way you're reading the market, your charts, your markups. It's like, reminds me of Thomas a few months ago before he started taking these easy challenges. But again, with social media, we just get pulled in all these different directions. And then the prop space is like every day there's a new product or trade this or get this payout. And you're getting people shoving it in your face every day at payout. So it's like, it's not easy to learn how to trade in this environment. Like you got to really just don't have to step back, but just maybe step to the side and stop looking at everything on the left side of the screen. You know what I mean? And look,
we're saying the same thing. You're saying the opposite side, back side, but same idea of like, yes, not go to the newest thing, see what was working. And then, because there is so much new information. I think maybe it was Michael Patak tweeted something about like, don't chase the new shiny object. With all these Forex companies joining the prop space and stuff like that, it is a lot of information to digest. Even Top One just dropped these new accounts. Probably when this is going to be out on the 28th.
Monday.
So yeah. So then those new accounts, the pro accounts, probably won't be available at the time of dropping this. But I know they're saying they're going to bring it back. Either way, just so much new shiny object syndrome. It's so easy. You bought 7 of the new accounts, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes,
and
I did.
You're right. So like we all are guilty of that. But I think it's always good to check yourself too. I feel like though for you, Randy, you've traded the intraday trailing drawdown prop firm stuff very well. Why do you think you've been able to make that work almost better than the instant funded stuff?
So full disclosure, I started trading those accounts yesterday. So yesterday and today I got both green days, but my first 2 trades on both days were paper cuts or a break even because I struggled with that intraday drawdown because I hadn't traded in about 6 months. But after talking to Nick Jocelyn for the last few days and last week, and that's all he basically trades is intraday trailing drawdown, I realized you just got to manage the trade a lot different. And you got to be a lot more aggressive where he's taken 2.5 points and a 2-point stop loss and 2.5 points on his take profit side on 1 or 2 minis. And he's stacking up what are base hits, but you don't think about it that way because you just think like, and his trade strategy is good. He's catching momentum and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I can do that with the VWAP. I'm still trying to finesse it because there's obviously once you get to the VWAP, we can move 5 points either way.
Right.
But I just find, and today again, when you're able to get that trailing drawdown back to where it was and have your full drawdown back and have a winning day, I think you start to understand the concept of a trailing drawdown. So even though my balance at one point was, I had less than 2K of drawdown, but I'm green on the day because it's trailing because I went into profit and price pulled back on me. Once you get back to having a flat day versus like having your full 2K of drawdown, but you're green on the day, it goes to show you that like this is how the trailing drawdown works. So as long as you play this game and you're winners or you're taking profit, if you don't take it the first time, on the second attempt, you take profit to gain that drawdown back. And then you finish the day up, you slowly will step towards that payout goal and keep your drawdown the same. And then it eventually locks once you get it above 52K plus 1 on the 50K. So
yeah, very interesting with the intraday drawdown. Good tip there. I think the bigger conversation I wanted to have with you guys wasn't just a catch up. It was about like tips for payouts. We already gave one there with Thomas. There's another one on the intraday drawdown. So I'm sure throughout this episode, people will get tips for different style. The payouts you took already though, Randy, they weren't from the trailing drawdowns, correct? So payouts on the instant funded, but to be fair, you were way more focused on the instant funded because you weren't even trading with Apex when you were working those top 1 payouts, right?
Yeah. So those payouts, I took one with Tradeify and one with Top One. The first one I actually took with Tradeify was an eval that I passed in one trade in one day on FOMC. And I don't know if that just boosted my confidence, but just helped me with the conviction. And then, that I was managed that account very well. And I took a payout, I think, in 12 days of trading it. And there's a 10-day period anyway. So 2 days over that. And then that just kind of spilled over into the Top One payout, which again, heading into Tampa, originally I had too much pressure on myself and I almost blew the account up the Friday before heading out to Tampa, trying to chase you because we were both in line for a payout that day. And lo and behold, who managed their trade well and who shit the bed? We know the answer to that question already, right? So yeah, no, but I got that payout, and then it didn't really dawn on me until I took the payout in the second one that what had shifted with me. Like coming up to it, I couldn't tell you that, hey, I'm going to take this payout. Like I got a payout coming next week. It was really after reflecting on it and being like, I started just reminding myself, and me and Thomas talked about this actually, that, the last 14 months, my bills were paid. We got a roof over our head. When we wanted to go on a vacation, we were fortunate enough to do these things. Like nothing changed. So getting this payout was not going to change. We weren't putting a down payment on a new house or the mortgage. The house wasn't getting foreclosed on because I needed this payout to make our payments because we're behind. So I think and Tanner said it at the conference the best, like trading from a place of scarcity. I've actually had this conversation with some struggling traders I DM that reach out to me on Instagram, and they ask me, what is trading from a place of scarcity? And I have to explain it. I'm like, if you're trading thinking that this money that you're going to get from this payout is going to change something in your life, you're trading from a place of scarcity. Like, if you want to get a payout and go out for a nice steak dinner, that's different. But if you want to get the payout because you're behind on your car payment, or you're up to date on your credit card payments, but your balance is really high and you're just making interest only payments, and you think if you take this payout, you're going to pay off your credit card debt. That's not how it's going to work. Your credit card debt's going to get bigger and bigger because you keep blowing challenges and buying more straight to funded accounts. Like, it's a vicious cycle that people don't, once you get in it, and especially if you're not part of a community, it just.
So 2 tips you're saying: don't trade from a place of scarcity and detach from almost needing the payouts and focus on the process. By doing that, the payouts come, right? So those are the 2.
If you trust your process and you're a good trader, I guarantee you the payouts come. Like, there's no question about it. Like, if you follow your process and have a certain amount you lose every day, or a certain amount of profit you take, or a certain amount of trades, you just follow your rules. There's no reason why you're not going to make money. You're only going to make money when you don't follow your rules.
You're only going to lose money when you don't.
Or sorry, yeah. You know exactly what I meant, right?
Because you're saying once you have the process, you end up getting in the way. That's what I was saying on stream today too. Of like, people are like, "Where's your strategy?" I'm like, "It's in Futures 101. It's free. It doesn't matter. Like, I can give you that. You guys have seen that for over a year. You've both been doing this, and like, the strategy is maybe you can argue strategy is 51% of this. I don't even know if you'll win that argument, because I think that's how much the mental side of trading really dictates your performance.
I agree. And
I want to budge in on this, because this is exactly what was my problem of, like, I am so attached to the money, where I was this whole year, I've been trading from a perspective of like, this payout will pay my bills. Like, and that was the reality of the situation. And so that's why I needed to take a step back. And now I put myself in a different position. And now when I come back, I'm not even looking at the P&L when I'm trading now. Now, all I'm looking at is, what is the pattern that's forming on the chart? And how can I manage my risk? And where are the orders? How are we playing around in the market right now? And it's not at all about P&L and just about protecting my downside. And I view trading now from such a different perspective now that I'm able to detach, but it's such a buzzword. And like, the whole detach from the P&L
you get that better now because you took the break. When you take the break, you have the actual space to detach. Then you come back and you're like, okay, I see what I'm supposed to do. I'm not emotional about this money, this P&L. I'm just supposed to deploy it with controlled risk, like Randy said, with rules to keep me honest. I'll have red days, but I should have more green than red. These are really good points, really good lessons. I think we've got like 4 tips already about how to take more payouts. Derail with me for a second though. Randy, you mentioned follow your rules. Follow your rules. Someone listening to this is going to be like, what rules? Where should they start? They want to get funded. They want to trade prop. Where do you start to build? What's the first step in starting to build rules? Don't just say go to stream and watch Futures 101. Let's actually get another answer. Thomas, you go first, then Randy.
Well, honestly, I was going to say, if you want to find a set of rules, I would highly recommend joining a live stream, because I personally believe just a course alone is not going to get you far enough, because a course is going to teach you a system, but there's so many nuances that
Nuances.
go into a system that it really does help to watch somebody trade live and speak about it. And it's like there's so many like verified live streaming traders. I would definitely say, like, don't do a free one. Do something paid, because that's where you're going to get the real value. And it's like, don't even go to ASFX. It doesn't
No.
matter. Like, just
Dude,
go
some of these guys
somewhere.
charge $750. Mark Minaviri, I think, is very expensive to join his stream. He trades stocks, right? So it's like, I think you're right in the comment about the course and the streaming. And I think you're also right in you get what you pay for. So finding the rules, you're saying, Thomas, can come from mentorship. That's kind of what you're saying. Find someone that's got rules, see if you like their rules, like you guys did. I wasn't the first person. Maybe I was for you, Randy, but Thomas, I know I wasn't the first trader you found. So
Yeah.
you got to try different people. And that's like what I've said before. It's okay to strategy hop. But then when you find somebody that's doing well, that's taking payouts or showing profits, and you like them, you really want to deep dive it. You really want to see if you can buy in on it. Randy, what would you
And
say
I
on building the rules?
I
Good.
was
Sorry,
just
Thomas,
gonna
did you want to finish?
No, I was just gonna say, if anything, like, give yourself that freedom to like strategy hop, because if
Yeah.
anything, in my first
Mentor
year,
hop.
yeah, mentor hop. What works for you? What's interesting for you? Because in my first year, I was so rigid with this, like, I don't want to be a strategy hopper, that I like ended up committing to a system for probably 3 months longer than I needed to. When in my head, I'm doubting it, thinking I should probably just move on. But at the same time, like, oh, I don't want to be a strategy hopper. So, like, especially if you're in the first 2 years, give yourself that freedom to find what works for you.
Yeah. Randy, let's go back to
Yeah,
you.
no, I 100% agree with that last comment. If you're not comfortable or happy working with who you're working with, you're not gonna do what you need to do.
Right.
There's gonna be stuff blocking you mentally that you don't even realize, like this guy's a jerk, or whatever. I don't like what he says. He can't tell me what to do. Like we've been in the black shirt together long enough that people have come and gone.
Yep.
That you could have, the first day you're like, yeah, I just don't think they're here to learn. They're not. Be coachable, right? That would be a big tip. Be coachable, be open to criticism. You're learning, right? But I think just when it comes to following the rules, pick something, and whether it's a strategy, a mentor, but then again, like Thomas said, don't be so strict and hard on yourself. You got to give yourself a little bit of flexibility, just to be like, if you put yourself in a box and be like, this is the way it is, and I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to be successful, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And then you're going to give up, and then it just trickles into everything else in life. And it's, so just pick something, go with it. Just stay focused, follow your set some rules, but don't make it like, and I did this with my morning routine forever. If I missed something in my morning routine and I took a trade and the trade went the other way on me, I would blame it on not drinking my electrolytes, not having my cold shower. So now I have non-negotiables, and there are only a few. And then there's 3 or 4 other things that if I get them done, I do. If I don't, I don't. But there's a couple of things now that I just have to, like, if it's the breath work or meditation, that's a non-negotiable. Monday, 7 days a week, hungover, anything. But if I can get a walk in, that's okay. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. I'm still gonna, trust my process and believe in myself. But yeah, so that's why you can't be too hard on yourself, because then you just use that as an
Well, you're
out.
not perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Exactly.
You can't expect perfection in trading. I think I had a tweet about that last week where I was like, you look at MLB players, 3 out of 10, right? Tom Brady still throwing interceptions. Nobody's perfect. Perfection is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to make it. You got to execute when it counts, and you got to be able to follow the process when it counts. So let's stay on this for one more question. Just this process and the finding of the rules. What made you guys confident in VWAP? Both of you use VWAP like I do in some capacity, like for a majority of your trading analysis. What made you confident? Or if you want to answer it and say like why you bought in on VWAP, or why you would tell someone to try VWAP comparing to maybe what you were doing before. Randy, you want to go first and then Thomas?
So I wasn't trading anything before with indicators. I got introduced to VWAP, but I've also, through my last year and a half, been adding indicators and playing around with stuff. But like Thomas said, when you get into that space of just pattern recognition, and you throw a VWAP on critical points, whether it's, New York Open, start a day, high lows, these things, and you watch price react to that level. Sure, someone can say, oh, there's a level back here from 14 months ago that, throw a line up here, and this is Randy B's level. Follow my levels, and it's all just it's the shit that we got to deal with in the industry, where the VWAP is just the VWAP. It's not Austin's VWAP or Thomas's VWAP or Thomas is this, like, it's just the VWAP, and it's there, and price is reacting to it. And you can clearly see buyers, sellers, you can understand the market. And I think just to have, if you have one indicator on your chart learning to trade, have that on, and you just understand where the market's going and what buyers and sellers are doing at those levels and reacting to. And it's very just easy to digest, and it's constantly
binary, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're waiting for an EMA crossover or something like
exactly
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it gives you an outlook, and you can kind of see what's going on.
I think VWAP is reactionary. It tells you who's in control right now. It doesn't necessarily tell you where we're going to go, but it gives you an idea of what's happening right now, where a lot of people want indicators to tell them what's going to happen. Traders that really understand playing the probabilities, they just need to know what is probably going to happen from what has happened. Thomas, what do you think? What made you buy in on the VWAP?
What made me buy in was Brian Shannon explaining how the big firms all use VWAP and want the VWAP price. So now, as a small retail trader, I know that this number, this line, is where price wants to drift to at some point, because someone wants to be filled there. So that was where it began. But then it's like now, okay, 16 months into VWAP, I have so much pattern recognition. It's ridiculous that I recognize the same thing. You see it over and over and over again. And that's what's given me confidence in VWAP. But just to take it one step further, I'd say it's more about having one indicator or two indicators that are set, and you use them every day and you don't stray from that. Because, for example, Anthony Crudelli, amazing trader, uses Bollinger Bands. That's what he's been using, and he recognizes that to a T. He knows Bollinger Bands like the back of his hand. So it's just about finding something and committing to it. And like, it is another cliche that like you'll find a trading strategy that fits your personality. You really will. Yep. VWAP, I love it. It makes so much sense to me. But then we also trade with Christine, where she's questioning it. She's like, it doesn't really make sense to me. There's too much space between, so it's like you just got to find what works for you. And if you need a place to start, VWAP is so objective because it has time, volume, and price involved. And those are the three main factors that move the market.
I just realized you two are wearing black shirts for the podcast, and I'm not.
Black Shirt Club.
Black shirt.
Didn't you get the memo?
I didn't get.
Like I said, the up and comers we are, Thomas. We're on the ball.
You're always
on the ball.
Austin
over here dropping the ball.
I talked to Christine, and we had a coaching call like a week ago. I think we have another one this week, and I don't know if she was doubting it as much. Why do you think she's doubting the VWAP? And what do you think we should do with her?
From what she said, it's, if I've been trading it for a year and I haven't gotten a payout, something's not working, which is fair. If you've been trading it.
Is it fair to blame the indicator? I knew that's where we were
going. Okay. That's
exactly
a very
what we
good
said
point.
At the beginning. Isn't it her?
Yeah, but I don't think she's blaming the indicator. I think she's trying to say is that her using this indicator
is not speaking to
is
her.
not, you know what? She's not getting the pattern recognition that she's had some beautiful plays, not even trading the VWAP, just off the bottom of a bounce off, basically opening range low. Like that's been her like money setup, but she's been trading the VWAP prior, using her ammunition. And then by the time it came to her money trade setting up, she was either in the hole or not wanting to trade or something, right? So I think that's more or less, she's seeing something different than what the VWAP is presenting for her, and she's really honing in on that, whether it's an opening range low breakout or whatever, because she traded, I believe, the orb originally, like opening range breakouts with stock. So maybe that's her comfort zone, and having the VWAP up here and the opening range down here is throwing her off, right?
Right.
That's exactly what it was. She was like, the VWAP, there can be too much space between the line and price. And now I don't feel like it's aiding in my trading. It's just another line, another variable to consider.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's so good. I don't know
the one I'm in.
I don't know why nobody talks about it. Like, it's such a good book. Yeah.
Wait, you're talking about the book that I'm in?
Yes. Have you read it? have you even read it?
No.
Yeah,
He
so
doesn't
get the
read,
fuck
dude.
out of here. I knew it.
Oh, that's funny, Randy. That's very funny. Everybody, prop trading secrets. I'm chapter 12 or 13, I think. I have it marked here. Chapter 12. Yep. Trader Nick is in this too. Randy, you've read the whole book?
Yes, it's beautiful. I'm telling
Really?
you, I'm about to make a video on how good that book is because I keep forgetting. Even in our podcast, I want to bring it up because it's not about indicators or systems or strategies. It's just 12 individuals or how many, and they're how they found success trading prop and what they did. Like it's cool.
We'll link it
It's
below,
dope.
everybody. So I actually interviewed Etienne.
Yeah, I
when the
remember
book
that.
dropped. Right. He honestly, I love him and I love Kathy. They just don't have a strong social media presence. I think that's why this book is not that popular. That's
I
where
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You read through the people that are in this book. I'm not even saying this. Like, for me to be, in my opinion, one of the top 5 most known people by name, like in the trading space, that's not good. You know what I mean? But that just shows you like there's so many traders out there that aren't popping on social media. You know what I'm saying?
But like even I haven't. There's only a few names in that book that I even know of.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
the rest of them ran 7-figure hedge. Some of them ran 7-figure hedge funds.
Well, that's the good thing. It's like it's not just about prop firm retail traders, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole section here.
But they all started as prop firm retail traders and got into either hedge funds or their own setups and own family offices. Just read it. It's a good.
So what are you saying?
Hey,
you
that's
want
what
to
it
start a family
shows.
office?
10 years,
Yeah,
10 years in the game. Top Step's been around for 12. Like, and that's what you can do.
Yeah. I feel like people underestimate how many years it takes to become successful in trading. But I also think it's shrinking with the prop firms. Like prop firms are getting people real money in their pocket, I think, faster than like what I had, like my journey when I started trading with my own money. And you're just losing and then having to make all that money back. I think people are losing less now. Like I had Krista on stream this morning. You guys know her from the seminar. She's up $29,000 in her first less than year of trading. She's never even traded before. Yeah. And she's only spent like 8 or 9,000, she said. So she's net positive, which is awesome. How many people were net positive in their first year of trading that got into it 10 years ago like me? Nobody. Literally nobody.
I've been listening to like some Umar Ashraf and stuff like that, and all
Yeah.
the guys who traded personal capital all talk about going through the first 2 to 3 years of burning their money, of like having a really good trade, doubling the account, tripling the account, and then going for that again, and then going broke, and then redoing it. And with the prop space, you just negate that whole aspect of, unless if of course like you're using all your money, but like you negate that whole churn and burn of like your whole personal finances.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Randy?
Oh no, I was just gonna say the same thing. Like I think we've talked about this a few times, but I want to see in 10 years from what the stats going to be. That since prop firms have come out, but how many? Because it just shrinks that struggle. Because 99% of people that failed blew up and they had no more money to trade, right? Because they blew up their personal accounts. Where with a prop firm, if you have a budget and you set your budget every month and you blow $500 a month on prop firms, you could trade for a long time before you became profitable, right?
But then you have to think to the statistics question: does the prop firms now bring in more traders overall, right? And they're shittier and they're losing more. So now the stats could actually even be worse.
I never even thought about that until because I'm looking at the glass half full. You're looking at the glass half empty, right?
Right. Think about all the
failures
that happen in the prop firm space. Why is Top Step so huge? Why is Top One blowing up? Because I mean, they make money when people don't take payouts.
Yeah.
Though, I think this is a great tip and something that I see far too often with traders who haven't taken one payout, but they have accounts across 3 firms or 4 firms. And it's like, I've got the straight to funded model here. I've got the instant drawdown, the trailing drawdown here. I've got the Top Step model here. And to you, I would say, if you're coming from the Forex space where you did, like an 8% profit target 1, 6% profit target 2, and you had success with that, the straight to funded model is going to be for you, because the straight to funded model is just a basic, you just need to hit this profit target to take any money out.
Right.
But then if you're coming from somewhere where you're trading personal capital, maybe you want to take it slower, maybe you're just looking to focus on like the at the core of just trading, which is not for any specific dollar amount, maybe a firm like Top Step is going to be better for you, because it has much more loose rules and no specific payout buffer that you need to hit. So
the 5 days
that would be
200 is nice.
It's the easiest way to take a payout.
if
If
you're
you,
doing,
if you look at
if
it
you're
at the
doing an
rules.
eval, in an eval model.
On a side note, speaking on that, and I was going to actually talk about it earlier today, I traded 2 straight to funded accounts and then the intraday trailing drawdowns. I managed my trades in the 2 straight to funded accounts like I did in my my trailing drawdown account, and I took profits when I needed to, where if before having a profit target and then having more drawdown in those straight to funded, I would have shot for a bigger number. And what did price do? It hit my TP, all 3 of my accounts, my trades closed out. I was great for the day. Instead, I'd still be trading or holding on. So having one style, like trading, I'm trading my other accounts like a trailing drawdown. I'm trading everything like a trailing drawdown. When I took a payout with Tradeify, I was only trading Tradeify. When I took a payout with Top One, I was only trading Top One. Right now, I'm only trading Top One. Like, that's how I focus instead of 5 different prop firms. And I'm going to switch to this one and do this one and do this one, because that's just when shit gets out of hand. Like, get consistent. If you want to do that, go get a trade copier and trade 30 accounts of different prop firms and do that.
Right.
Then
it's
do
really
that, right?
hard. I mean, right before you even got on the stream to do this podcast, Thomas and I were talking about that, like how it's difficult to manage. He like traded on the wrong account or something today, didn't you, Thomas? You clicked.
Yeah, I'm like, it's just like you set the risk settings, you do the lockout, but then I locked out the second account. I'm supposed to be trading the first account. Just a pain. It's just a pain. It's too much to manage. You got to keep it simple.
Yeah.
It's like everything about trading is better, simple, less is more. It's really true.
So as of today, June 11th, favorite prop firm for you, Thomas?
Favorite prop firm would be Top Step. That's where I've been paid out.
Randy?
Top One, unfortunately.
Fortunately or unfortunately?
Unfortunately, like, I'm just joking. I'm making a joke on it.
Why is even though you took payouts with Tradeify, why Top One still? Just because it's what you're most focused on, or do you like?
So kind of what Thomas said, meeting Matt and Clay, understanding the company, and even though they've had some hiccups with their rule changes and account changes, they've honored it. They've gone above and beyond to fix their mistakes. They're the first ones to do that, where I see a lot of other, even with these new accounts come out, I saw the CEO of another big prop firm saying that he came up with the same idea a few weeks ago.
It was Brett.
Yeah.
Simba. Yeah.
But he came up with the same
name.
He came up with the same idea a few weeks ago, but decided it wasn't a good product all of a sudden. So he's going to take credit now. If this product works for Top One, it's like, this is the kind of bullshit you got to deal with. So that's why I'm kind of grossed out by, icked out by some of these other prop firms.
Bro, he had that tweet where he called affiliates whores.
Yeah. Like, it's just,
even though affiliates like me are the people that help build his business. It's like,
he's on stream with Brian Stonk, who's got 15 prop firms.
Oh, I know. I made sure to get a screenshot of that. That way I got that, and just in case.
Let's not even go there. The guys that you go to their website and they got 25 prop. These are my top 25 prop firms.
Right.
Use my code. 25 prop firms. Like, come on now.
Right. And then well, I mean, it's flattery. Like if Top One, if anyone was on my mind that much, it would be like, that's my competition. Like, I'm worried they're on my ass. So Top One probably feels good about it, because I never see Matt and Clay address Brett, but I always see Brett subtweeting them, bro. It's like Saturday night, late at night, Brett Simba's up tweeting about other.
Yes, but that, you know what I mean? That's what you're focusing your energy on. Yeah, you got a family, you got kids. Like, that's what you're spending your time doing.
It is interesting. Like, Top One, when they made a mistake with that email that went out last week, and then they were like, "Yo, we'll give everybody a refund. It was a mistake." They didn't need to do that. Multiple times when they have made a mistake, if you would call it a mistake, they've offered refunds. I don't know anyone else that offered refunds when they've done that or made rule changes. They never offered refunds, Also, so they deliver there. But also what's weird is, like, Tradeify always promised Project X. He said it on my podcast, on this podcast.
I remember that.
Twice, and he never delivered it. So that was weird. Like, why would you say they tweet stuff like that all the time. Everybody, all these prop firms, we got something big coming. And then meanwhile, Top One just shuts up and delivers a new product and actually delivers something. So it is interesting when you look at it, but I think that's why Matt and Clay are running the company well. You know what I mean?
So I just overall, I like the company. No payouts have been denied. It's been super speedy. So as of now, I see them as, and Top Step is the GOAT. Like, Thomas there's nothing wrong with trading. I have a Top Step combine that resets every month for $19. If I get an XFA out of that, I'm going to, I'll trade it, right? Like, it's Top Step's the GOAT, right? Like, you can't go wrong, but I love the underdog story with Top One Futures. So I kind of, went all in with them, and so far so good. Like, I can't complain. So I recommend it to anybody.
How much have you gotten paid out from Top One?
Just the $3,500, just the one payout.
Nice. All right, good.
So-
But I mean, that's one or two payouts behind me. Tanner just
Yeah.
requested his second payout, so he's on my ass. I know a lot
My-
of people are on
My
their
next
second.
one's going to be for 30K. So you and Tanner and you guys can all sit there
Yeah,
and cry
dude,
in the
because you're
corner.
copy trading 7 accounts, so it's going to be fucking huge, right? Yeah.
Call big balls.
I wonder if like the intraday trailing drawdown, because it makes you more scalpy, like you were saying, like you don't want trades to turn around. And like I believe that's a key factor in my success. Look at my add in and my exit today. It was nasty because I just don't want things to turn around when they move strong in my favor quickly. Because I know as quick as it goes up, it'll come right down. So I wonder if the intraday trailing drawdown actually helps traders in some situations. But then of course in choppy markets, maybe it gets really tricky and you get torched quickly.
Well, you shouldn't be trading choppy markets then. Like there's I can tell you the opposite of all those arguments where people are like, you can't do this, you can't do this. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be doing that and stick to what works.
Right. It's a good point.
And this is where it comes down to knowing your rules.
Yeah.
What rules work best for you? Are you a trader that you just like to set your take profit and your stop loss and let it do its thing? Or are you going to scalp it and manage it and trail it to the 2-minute candles? How are you going to do that? Because each trading strategy is going to work better at a different firm with different rules.
Yep.
So even just to quickly, I'm not going to go too side on this, but I'll quickly chime in on that. One of the accounts today, I set my stop loss and my take profit to levels where I normally would, a bigger stop. And then, up at the highs, I set my take profit. And as I closed out the other trades where I wanted to, that one was still on. And if I left it on, it would have came back for either a break even or a full loss.
Mm-hmm.
So for me personally, and what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing, I think taking the profits a little bit more aggressively and just stacking up the base wins where I'm trying to pass these things. I used to be trying to get a payout and because again, when they put a no payout window on an account, what are you going to try and do?
Get payouts.
You're going to try and pass it in 2, 3, 4, 5 days, whatever the consistency rule will allow you to get the most amount of profit. So
they open the market 24/7. What are you going to do? Trade more and lose more, right? So it's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
No, I'm trading 7 accounts. 17.5 is the payout on those 7 accounts. If it took me 60 days
to get 17 grand,
to get 17 grand, is that a bad thing?
Not really. I mean,
right.
Thailand,
So this is how
Bangkok.
This is how I look at this is how I look at these accounts. Not I'm going to get 17.5 in 2 weeks after the 10-day minimum is over. I'm looking at like, fuck, if I can bank this, like, hey man, like it's 17.5 US is 25 Canadian. Like I made 25 grand in 2 months.
You basically buy Justin Trudeau's house. So let's deep dive for a second. We're making jokes, but deep dive it, Randy. You're looking to make $18,000 from these 7 accounts with top one. How much are you risking per trade with these?
Right now, I'm risking anywhere between like 150 to 250 per trade. I got a $500 personal daily loss limit on these accounts, so it buys me anywhere 2 to 3, maybe 4 trades, depending on the size. And this again is I'm starting to build a process of trading with the trailing drawdown. Right, so this is new to me again. So it's like let's start with 3 micros. Like Nick Jocelyn trades 1 to 2 minis. Dude. But he's very aggressive at taking profits, and he'll take the $150 paper cuts because it's okay. I'm not comfortable taking anything just yet. Like I'm being honest. I'm trading really well, so I don't want to be taking 10 paper cuts to 5 winners. I don't want to. I want to shoot for 60 to 70% win rate. That's just me, a personal goal of mine.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make my trading strategy fit that, or else I'm going to try and bend the rules and break the rules for this. And it's again trust the process, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's
what do you think of that
kind
risk, Thomas? Do you think he's got the right risk for those accounts?
Honestly, I don't even know what the profit target is, but it sounds right because I'm trading 50Ks, 6%, 50.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trading about the same.
Yeah.
So I got 2K drawdown and I got $3,000 to profit target. So I think, there's going to be days where the 5 micros where the 250 risk is going to pay off 250.
I mean, for me, bro, I think that's the sweet spot. Today I put 6 or 7 on it, and that's the biggest trade I've taken on these 50K so far, but I'm green on them every single day. I think if you can just aim for on the 50Ks, even on the trailing drawdown or the instant funded, I think $300 to $600 days are where you want to be on the up and the down. You do that for a month, you win at 60, 70%, you're going to be all right. Whether you take a payout that month, you might have to run a little bit more green, right? Like I did last month and so far this month to take a payout every month. But if you run it without being a little more green, you still have a couple, maybe let's say you have like 5 or 6 red days instead of 2 or 3, then maybe a month and a half for the payout, which is still really good, especially for people that have never taken a payout. One more question on the 17K thing, Randy. Would you feel as confident to take this 7 account and go deep into this right now if you hadn't already taken a payout, do you think?
No, because this was the problem I ran into when I first started to learn, well, even 6 months into trading. And, you guys both know this, when I was doing 20 Apex accounts, or I was trading, my 5 Top Step ones. And it was the whole, for anybody out there that hasn't taken a payout, just get a payout. Take it on one account. Like, just don't
buy
shoot for
20
the
Apex
17.5 as much as I want you to. And I'm going to tell you to go like shoot for the stars, right? Like, just get one payout. Let it be even $200. Take your payout, go take your spouse, your partner, your friend, whoever you want, go out to dinner, get a nice steak, have a glass of wine, and be like, I did something for myself, versus like, okay, now I just blew $3,500 in accounts because I wanted that. I wanted 17.5.
Don't bite off more than you can chew, everybody. He's saying you don't need to go into copy trading if you haven't taken a payout. Save yourself the money, go get the first payout, because like I just set him up for that answer. He's more confident now to go do this copy trading because he's already taken payouts on the instant funded accounts. So
if you're copy trading to take a massive payout because you need that payout, again, we're going to go back to rule number 1. You're trading from a place of scarcity, right? You're only copy trading 10 accounts because you need a 40 grand payout because you got a bill to pay, or you think it's going to change your life. So it just goes to like, you got to ask yourself that question before anything.
So now all this knowledge and wisdom from you two turned into Behind the Charts, new podcast. What's the goal with the podcast? Like, what are you guys trying to do other than compete with me?
Okay. This is what I love. This is
why are you laughing, Randy? Stop laughing.
I love this. So the goal with the podcast is, right, in the trading space, there is so much education for traders in their first 6 months of strategies. And then there's so much like education on like interviews. It's just an interview style of, interviewing very successful traders, and we need that. But where I see the gap is that at a certain level, you don't need more information. And this is something you have preached to me, Austin, for the last 6 to 8 months. If you don't need more, you need less, and you need to focus on doing less. But where does that leave you? Okay, you're not going to be doing more studying on the charts. What do you need to do? You need to think more. You need to have those conversations that are going to help you become a more fluid trader with yourself, so that you are not mismanaging trades, or so that you're not over trading, tilting. That doesn't come from more chart study. That comes from more reflection on yourself. So the goal of this podcast is to have those conversations as traders that are still working through this, so that we can showcase to the rest of the world and the traders that are in our position, how are we working through these concepts, and how are we going to be going from I have a profitable system to I'm executing my profitable system flawlessly every single time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it fits a whole, right? For sure. And I think that you're right. There's probably a lot of people that see the interviews and can't relate, but they do take in the information. But how much does that information actually make them money?
Exactly. There's so much information to intake, and that is fantastic. I cannot tell you, I've listened to thousands of hours of podcasts, and each one resonates with you in a different way. Maybe
But
it's
they all
something
start
that
to
they
sound the
said,
same, I'm sure.
but they all start to sound the same. So now we're trying to break down those bigger concepts and have a 20-minute conversation about what is trading your personality style mean. Like, so we're trying to bridge that gap of education.
And how does Christine fit into this, Randy?
She gives you the perspective of, it's so easy for me and Thomas to kind of like, even like we just did a podcast, I think episode 4 was on your spouse, like how learning to trade has affected your relationship with your spouse, your partner, whatever you want to call it. And listening to Christine's version of it kind of puts things in perspective for me of how Hillary could see it. Because I can see it as a man, I see it a certain way. I come in my office, I'm working, and Hillary's been the most supportive person in the whole world. Like, I'm very fortunate in that sense. But I'm in my office all day. We have a newborn. They're out, so he's outside crying. She's like, I'm a doorway away, and it's hard for her to comprehend that. Even for me, it's a struggle that I do it from home. And, I get so caught up in like, I'm working, I'm making money for the family, I'm doing all this stuff for us to, to get to a place in life. And I forget that she's out there dealing with, Miles, who's not a terror, but he's a busy
Dude, it's
boy.
way harder than making YouTube videos, I think.
Right. And, but having Christine always, it kind of grounds the conversation and gives you that it's very well-rounded. Cause I think that you don't get, again, you see a lot of, there are a lot of women in the industry, like on X and Instagram that are, tits and ass and they're trading and they're getting in their Lambos, but it's true. Like it's again, it's the same thing as the Lambo boys. There's the same thing for females in trading.
Ticks and tits.
Yeah. Right.
There
Exactly. That's we should have named the podcast, but
that was my second suggestion, everybody. Ticks and tits.
But if Thomas and I and Christine were going towards that demographic, for sure we'd be tits and ticks, and we'd be interviewing from our Lambos or having a stripper in our private jet. Like, like there's some great ideas, right? So don't be, if we drop those, don't be upset.
Let me write that down. Hold on a second, please. No, that's.
But it's like it's three people. We get three different perspectives on one question, and
I would love to see
everyone's
you guys
different.
eventually try to get together in person, because you are all on the West Coast. So I'd love to see you rent a studio eventually and chop up a couple in person. It makes.
Well, we were trying to do something in Tampa, but it just didn't.
Well, you
Austin,
need
we're too busy.
We didn't get a break.
We're too busy talking with you, Austin.
You need a
doing all
studio
that.
like I do, where you actually can sit down and talk with the person. Because like even here, when we do these Zoom podcasts, like look at how like I have to facilitate it. Like can't talk over each other. Hey, you done? Can you talk now? In person, it's way better. You know what I mean? So I try to get as many in person as I can. But
you can fly us out to Florida anytime. So.
Dude, I'll fly you guys to my new house. I'll have space for you guys. So
there you go.
Come out to the new house. But you know what? I'm serious. You guys are all West Coast. She's in Mexico sometimes, wherever she's being a hippie doing van life or whatever they're doing. But like, but I think you guys should try to do it this year. You should make that a goal of meeting in LA or something and doing an in-person podcast. Dodge the protesters, dodge the rioters, and bang out a podcast. But boys, this has been really, really good. I got a ton of good notes from us. I think we'll pin it here. We also should announce your seminar session is going to be coming out on the 23rd. So by the time people are listening to this, you can go to my YouTube channel and actually see a 20-minute video or so of Thomas and Randy showing off their payouts, presenting at the seminar that we did. What was that? The beginning of May. So definitely go check that out. But thanks, boys. Good catching up with you. We'll have to do another one again soon. Make it regular. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thanks for having us on, bro.
For everybody listening, check out Behind the Charts. I'll put the link for the podcast down below. And of course, check us out on ASFX TV. Randy's been on twice a week. Randy, I got the graphic for you like you asked.
Yeah, I can't
Thomas
wait.
is on, so I'll have to get Thomas a little promo graphic, but definitely come check us out. The boys are trading with me every day, all week long. So, but thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode.
See you guys.